pretty soft hits. I mean, what's your feeling when you leave a start like this?
Yeah, it's just a grinder, like one of those, just you kind of chalk it up to just one of those days, really. I just felt like anything that got put in play was a hit. I felt like, my command was in and out at times. Felt my stuff was pretty good. But it just seemed like they always found a hole, and that kind of ended up being kind of the story of the game.
Seemed like your velo was up today. What do you think that had to do with?
I think just having some extra rest. I don't know. I don't even know if I've made a single start on like a 5-day schedule. So I've been able to have some extra throwing in between starts. I've worked really hard on recovery towards the back end of my starts. So I think a combination of a lot of things.
Do you feel like that extra throwing is a sign of health? I mean, feeling good about it?
Yeah, I think there's some things that I might need to fine tune a little bit, because it still seems like there's times throughout the game where just command is gone and it's just almost impossible to find. But on the flip side of that, you get rewarded with a little bit better stuff and a little bit, your body feels a little bit better and stuff like that. So, you just kind of move the bars a little bit and start tinkering here and there and just trying to fine tune and, work more maybe this week on trying to find a little bit better command consistently.
And this schedule is a good thing in terms of if you can continue to get as much extra rest as possible, knowing what that can do for you and for the team in September or October, down the road.
Yeah, I wish I was able to take advantage of it a little bit more. These last couple starts, when you get extra rest, I know guys are, we got some guys that are moving around, shuffling around to give me some more rest. I wish I was able to reward our guys a little bit more. These last couple starts have been, you get 7 days off, you better at least get through the 6th inning. I was really hoping to at least get to the 7th, because I know our guys are, getting used down there a lot. They're working their butts off, man, and it's frustrating for me, because it's like, okay, we're gonna give you this extra rest, and you're not gonna do what we need you to do with all of this. So, again, I just got to try to fine tune some things over the next, few days, just try to figure out how to get through that.
Was it satisfying to see the slider back, were you satisfied with the slider tonight more than last week in Boston?
It was better. Yeah, it was better. Again, it just seemed like there were times where I just felt like I was trying to get a swing in it, and it wasn't. So, just again, kind of just a weird game. I bet if you look at every time I've ever given up 10 hits in a game, it's probably attached with 6, 7, 8 runs, something like that. So, it was. You can take some good, you can take some bad, but at the end of the day, we won another series. That's, we against a good ball club. We got Pittsburgh coming in. So, as long as we just keep winning series, that's the main goal. Sweeps are hard to get. I was kind of fired up to try to get one tonight, but it just didn't work out.
Chris, you mentioned winning the series. You've been part of a lot of good teams over the years, but it's June. You guys have lost one series. I mean, how kind of surreal and amazing is it as you look at where you guys are going?
It's been a lot of fun, I'll say that. And I think, if you look around that clubhouse, it's not, too surprising. I think we've all believed this. I mean, you look over the last couple of years, last year was tough. Year before that, it just, injury was kind of the thing that kind of got us the last couple of years. I think we all have confidence in ourselves, and just the way we operate together, the way, the way the clubhouse is, the camaraderie, just the legitimate fun that we have together on a daily basis. It's not surprising that the results are there. We just got to keep, moving that line forward and keep the vibes high and keep, showing up on game day ready to go.
With that, how much does Weiss play a part in that, and how does he play a part in that as far as winning the series and just keep going?
I think, with him and, everybody on the staff, I think there's always a sense of urgency. we have a lot of fun, but there's urgency. I know Walt talks a lot about the pride he takes in this organization and wearing, Braves uniform, and I think that kind of flows through our clubhouse, and I think guys see how serious he takes it. We all know that once 7 o'clock rolls around, it's time to go out there and play as hard as we can. So, but again, I think just keeping it loose, keeping it light, having a lot of fun before the game, having fun, on the road, on the bus, and on the plane, team dinner, stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. I think that carries over onto the field, and you just gain trust in each other. You have, I know everybody in that clubhouse has my back, and that, and that goes through everyone in that clubhouse. So, when you have faith and trust and confidence in each other, it's generally going to, turn out pretty well.
Where's Ronaldo Lopez's head right now? Just based off of your conversations with him, what do you think about that?
I think that'd be a better question to ask him. But again, I think you look at his stuff; it's starting to tick up. He missed the whole year last year. That's tough. I've been there. It's not easy to miss a whole year and then come back and try to, pick up right where you left off. I mean, don't forget this guy was an all-star in 24, sub 2 ERA for an entire year, and then has a shoulder surgery, and you got to try to find his bearings a little bit. He was on a pretty good run there for a little bit. The stuff that you see is coming out. His ball's coming out of his hand really well, which gives you some confidence. So. It's one of those things you just got to keep kind of striking the iron. You got to keep trucking forward. We have confidence in him. Again, the stuff is there. Just sometimes when you take that amount of time off of reps, it can be tough. And I've been there, so I can speak on that pretty easily. It's not easy. So he's in there every day working, throwing bullpens, doing his throwing program. All of his shoulder strength stuff is he's on top of. So we just keep getting at it. This game's not easy.
What's impressed you the most so far with what Didier Fuentes has been able to do out of the bullpen?
I think just his poise. He's a young guy, man, and being able to come in big situations, multiple innings. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. He can come in and pitch 3 innings from the 5th to the 8th. He can come in and get the biggest out in the game, in a tight spot. And I mean, his stuff it's just a lot of fun to watch. Just pure electricity coming out of that right arm. So again, it's a lot of confidence in him, and I think moving forward, he's only doing himself a lot of favors, maybe even getting back into the rotation. But a lot of fun to watch.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.